Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and we're going to continue our year-end review for 2020 today in this very video. And we're going to look at all the very worst cards that came out in 2020 for every single class and the neutral set. And again, this is for all cards that came out in 2020, that were released in 2020. So that includes Galakrond's Awakening, Ashes of Outland, Skullman's Academy, and the Madness at Darkmoon Faire. That doesn't have like Rise of Shadows, the prior year stuff. It's just this year. And we're going to take a look at what cards basically, like what were they thinking? They just ended up seeing almost no play or were just horrendously bad. So let's take a look at the very worst cards that came out in 2020. So first, we're going to start off with Demon Hunter. And yes, they actually got some bad cards, but not that many. This wasn't that easy to go through. But honestly, the number one pick was very easy for me because I have never seen this card played in Standard, in Wild, in Arena, or in Duels. I have never seen this card played in Demon Hunter yet. And that is Soul Split. It's 4 mana, and you get to copy a demon that's on the board, a friendly demon that's on the board. I've literally never seen this played. Demon Hunter has never worked out. And when you have run demons, it's not worth copying it for 4 mana. It's just... don't know what this card's doing other than giving you like a random spell at some point that is useless, and that's what Soul Split is. Honorable mentions for me go to Blood Herald and Fell Summoner. For Druid, I had to go with the spell Partner Assignment. It's 1 mana, and it adds a random 2 and 3 cost beast to your hand. I guess this was supposed to go in the Beast Druid where you're not messing with your guardian animals and you're getting other beasts into your hand and then maybe hand buffing it with the legend. This thing just literally have never seen it played on ladder. It's popped up a little bit in Arena, but overall the average beast is just bad. This card is just bad, and it's just one of those like, what were they kind of thinking? What was the point? And honorable mentions for me is Ysel Windsinger, mainly because we had Kael'thas in the game, and it's like, Kael'thas was cheaper and better than this in almost every way, and Ysel is just, you know, it's playable in Wild, kind of, and Runic Carvings, because Totem Druid is just not a thing. For Hunter, I'm going to go with the card that came out during the Galakrond's Awakening adventure, and that is Chop Shop Copter. I didn't even realize this was a card until I looked into this video. It's a 3-mana 2/4 mech, and it adds a mech to your hand for every friendly mech that's died. Hunters had, like, no mech support almost all year. They got, like, Tonk. And that's like it. And this like requires like a bunch of mechs to be on board for it to be worth it. We have seen Mech Hunter in the past, but yikes, this wouldn't even see play in those decks. This thing is just unbelievably bad, and it really has like no support in the current Standard game. It's just kind of mind-boggling that it exists. It's like Oblivitron, except Oblivitron at least got Tonk. This like has absolutely nothing. It's kind of insane. And honorable mentions, again, Blood Herald, just such a great card that it gets honorable mention for Hunter as well as Professor Slate. That card has not worked out whatsoever in either Standard or Wild from what I have seen. For Mage, I'm going to go with a dual class card. We went dual class for the best card. We're going dual class for the worst card as well. And that's Trick Totem, the 2-mana 0/3 totem that casts a random spell that costs 3 or less at the end of the turn. And I thought this might be playable in Shaman, not so much in Mage. But yeah, it turns out it's just bad. Like, it destroys itself or the board way too often. Really unreliable. I like picking it in Arena because it's kind of funny because it's random. But overall, it basically would usually screw me more than it would help. Sometimes you got like a secret and it's nice, but overall, Trick Totem, 100% unreliable garbage that you just can never put in your Mage deck unless you're completely going full casino or random for fun. Honorable mentions are Mask of Cthulhu, which is just way too expensive a spell for what it does, and Game Master. Yeah, even Secret Mage in Wild doesn't run this, and if a card does something secret based and it doesn't even work in Wild, it just ain't that great. Next, we have Paladin, and we're going to go with the 1-mana dual class spell. Yes, this is a dual class card. Shield of Honor. It gives +3 damage, or +3 attack, and a Divine Shield to a damage minion. Paladin has, like, no way to self-damage stuff. When I saw this card be, like, released, I said, why is this dual class? Paladin can't really use this at all, and I've literally never seen a Paladin use this unless they drafted, like, Wandmaker at Arena, and they got this off of that. It's just unplayable. Like, how are you self-damaging a Paladin unless, like, you're pinflinging your own minion, and you're really going to go through that effort with this card? It's just brutally bad in Paladin and really good in Warrior. But yeah, just unplayable. Honorable mention is Gift of Luminance, just a spell that's not really necessary. And Judicious Junior, it's like okay stats and lifesteal, but it just really, just like, it's a pack filler. Just feels out of place. Next, we have the Priest cards, and I have to go with the very first card that Cora made. I'm sorry, Cora, but Initiation, the 6-mana spell, deals 4 damage to a minion, and if it kills it, you get a copy of it. It can be an okay created by option, you know, because there's a lot of created by in Priest, but it's a card I don't think I've ever seen anyone hard run, because why would you ever hard run this card? 6 mana kind of removal that maybe it's a good greedy option, but when everyone's just playing Battlecry minions all the time in every single format ever, it's just not worth. Not a very good card, but you know, you can create it by it and it's alright. Honorable mentions for Priest go to Disciplinary Gandling. A token Priest just doesn't really ever work. And Idol of Yashiraj, just way too expensive for the effect. Even like Big Priest, unless you're being like an Ultra Greed Lord, does not run this in Wild. For Rogue, this is tough because Rogue just always gets broken stuff. It's crazy. But this card is pretty bad. We have Shadow Sculptor. It came out during the adventure, and it's a 5 mana 3/2, so terrible stats, and you draw a card for each card you've played this turn. And when you get 1 mana draw 5, or as it was nerfed to 1 mana draw 4, somehow that didn't make my best cards list. I don't know what happened there, by the way. I don't know what happened. That should have been on there. Probably was the Rogue card of the year. I don't know what I was doing. Anyways, yeah, when you have like cards like Secret Passage, you have cards like Swindle, why in the hell are you playing a 5 mana card that you have to play a bunch of other cards just to draw cards? And then when you're playing a bunch of other Rogue cards, you're always generating other cards, so you're never going to have hand size. Like, it's just unplayable. Really, really bad unless you're memeing with some weird jank thing that Dane probably did in Wild. But yeah, awful, awful card. And it was an epic, so probably disenchant it, get some dust. Honorable mentions, Potion of Illusion hasn't really ever found a home in Rogue. And Sweet Tooth, the like aggressive corrupt card, which makes no sense because corrupt cards can't be aggressive because it's off curve. It's just really bad. For Shaman, I gotta give it to the same as Mage. I got it. Like, I thought this card would be like even good in like even Shaman. But no, Trick Totem, just bad in Shaman, bad in Mage. Just doesn't really do anything. We've had Totem decks. We even had Totem Shaman be like a legitimate like tier 2, tier 3 deck, and you didn't put Trick Totem into it. It's just, again, the downside of it is way too high compared to the potential high roll. There's just better stuff to do even in Shaman, which doesn't have a lot of great stuff these days outside of evolving. So yeah, Trick Totem takes the cake there. Honorable mention as well to Runic Carvings, even though you like doing totems in Shaman. Too expensive, clunky. And the Fist of Raiden. I know some people will complain about me putting this on there because, yeah, you could get primes and stuff like that. There was like Control Shaman that ran it, but overall, I thought it was just not a very good card, especially compared to almost every legendary weapon out there. It's just pretty underwhelming in my opinion. Next, we have Warlock, and despite Trump, I think gave it like a 4 or 5 stars. He was really excited about it. This card turned out to be a complete dud, as a lot of people had predicted, and that's Shadow Council, the 1 mana spell that replaces your hand with random demons. It gives them +2/+2. It turns out random demons aren't very good, and even if you hand buff them by a bunch, it's not very good. This card, though, I will give it this. It can be a pretty good arena pick, because his pure stats in arena do the trick a lot of the time. So I'll give it that, but overall on ladder, you're playing this, you're gonna die. Like, you're gonna get a bunch of stuff that's just not gonna help you out. There's very few, like, proactive demons. Most of the ones that are proactive are like dormant ones, and you have to wait even longer to get it going, and it just ain't worth it. But it is a pretty funny, like, puzzle box in, like, Yogg scenario when you Shadow Cancel your hand that way. Honorable mentions here are Ring Matron and Midway Maniac. Just underwhelming garbage demons that... They're okay arena picks, but that's about it. Notice the trend. The Warlock cards are just like arena cards for the most part that are like on this list. And the last class to cover is Warrior. And I have to go with the spell Information. 2 mana, add 2 random top minions to your hand. Never seen a Warrior deck ever run this. It's just not good. Even with like the hand buff stuff you can do with taunt minions in Warrior right now, like Armageddillo. It's just, you're not running Information. You're just gonna run a good taunt minion instead, because, yeah. Like, yeah, you could maybe high roll like a Tyrion, and that's pretty sweet, but overall, there's a lot of underwhelming taunt minions, and this card was just not very good. Honorable mentions go to Playmaker. I've literally never seen that card see play. And Stagehand, which is just like underwhelming hand buff card. And lastly, the worst neutral card of the year for me has to be Rock Rager, a 2-mana 5/1 taunt. Do I need to say anything more than that? It's a 2-mana 5/1 taunt. It does literally nothing except die and maybe push 5 to a rogue if they use the dagger to kill it. I guess it's just, even in Arena, you want nothing to do with this card. Runner-up goes to Enchanted Cauldron, which is just garbage, and Supreme Abyssal. I mean, it's a lot of stats, but it can't go face. It's just useless. It can't go face. Unless, I guess, you launch it with, like, the Hunter Legendary, but other than that, complete and utter garbage. So, let me know in the comments below, what do you think were the worst cards for each class and the neutrals and all of that. We'll continue our year-end review, likely taking a look at the best standard decks of the year and the best wild decks of the year. So keep tuned for that. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day, and stay salty, my friends.